Hi everyone, my name is Josh, and this is the Skype for Business recap. It is September. Man, we have made it to September. It has been the summer has seemed like it's flown by for me. It's been crazy busy. And September is just going to be a very busy month for me, for Skype for Business, for Microsoft. We have Ignite this month. I've been talking about Ignite for the last several weeks. And there's a lot going on gearing up toward that. A lot of prep work. People that are going are planning schedules. There's all sorts of stuff that's happening. And to make matters even more fun and more complex in the last couple weeks leading up, for people like me that live anywhere near Orlando where Ignite is going down, now we've got this big nasty hurricane looming out in the Atlantic called Irma. And luckily for me, it looks like as of today, the path has kind of shifted off to the east. So I'm over on the west coast of Florida, east coast. We're still going to get a lot of wind and rain. Probably a little bit of damage still, but it was looking a little bit more bleak yesterday. So I'm thankful for the change. But nobody needs that in the middle of all this. Houston's still trying to get over Harvey. Been a rough month or so here for storms out in the Gulf and the Atlantic. Hurricane season. What can you do? So, at any rate, going to be a busy month. Speaking of the month of September, we had a couple cool announcements that came out for some community members on the 1st of September. If you recall, the MVP program has started doing announcing new MVPs once every month on the 1st of the month. So the month of September, the 1st, any new MVPs that were selected during that time frame were notified, and that was exciting for them. In the Skype for Business and Teams world, we actually had a couple people that I want to call out and send a huge congratulations to. Let me pull up the Infinity screen here. And then let me move the browser over to the screen like I should have done in the first place. All right, first up, Erwin Bjerns. Huge congratulations, Erwin. You have been cranking out some awesome blog posts and doing a lot for the community lately. And while we all appreciate everything you do on a regular basis, we are want to offer you a lot of congrats that Microsoft is also recognizing that with a much-deserved MVP award. So a huge congrats to Erwin there. And next up, if you weren't peeking at the tab up here, David Rosenthal also got MVP September 1st. Very big congrats, David. Like he mentioned in his tweet here, I believe I might even be the world's first MVP for Microsoft Teams. So I'm not sure if there was anyone else named MVP September 1st with the distinguishing mark of Teams being their area of contributions, but David was one, so you indeed are at least one of the first, if not the first. Very big news. Congratulations, David. We're glad to have both of you in the as part of the MVP teams, and you guys have both been very active in the communities, in your respective communities over the last over the last year, but and beyond, and we appreciate it. So awesome, good stuff. All right, moving past that, what other content do we have? First, let me switch back off of the Infinity screen. Has any of you noticed that it seems like the content, I know a couple of you have noticed this because you've commented on Twitter, but the content or the news about Skype for Business, product developments, things like that have really slowed in the last few weeks? Kind of almost cricket-like, right? There's not as much big things happening or new product developments or this feature or that feature. It's been quieter. It's been a little bit slower, and it's probably a lull having to do with ramping up to Ignite. I think a lot of us are anticipating that Ignite is going to be a big year for those of us in the Skype for Business and Teams communities. Teams has really entered the limelight over the course of this year. We've all heard there's news coming with Skype for Business, vNext. So there's a lot of big things to be discussed, and I'm thinking that's probably got a lot to do with why it's quieter. So in this case, less news might mean more news in the coming weeks here. I'm looking forward to finding out what that is. Should be an entertaining month. an exciting month. So anyway, putting that aside, let me go back to my Infinity screen and the bring up what we've got here. Um, few things I wanted to call out that came out in this last week or so here. First, fellow MVP Tom Arbuthnot had put a post out there about Microsoft Skype for Business Online PSTN conferencing pay per minute option from October 1st, 2017. He calls out that this was highlighted in the Skype meeting on the Skype broadcast that's done by the Microsoft product team biweekly. This was one of their slides, and this is pretty cool. Like he says here, it's going to be available commercially for purchase in 72 countries with dial-in numbers in 90 countries and up to 400 city-specific numbers. Pretty good coverage right out the gate. He calls out what our three options are going to be now. Obviously, our flat rate options for PSTN conferencing that are included in the e-bundles. But then we also have, starting October 1st, this option to just pay per minute. When might you want to do that? Why would you want to go with paying per minute instead of bundling it up? Well, maybe for some smaller organizations that need it but really won't be using it too often, they'd rather save money where they can and not be paying the extra cost for the licensing to get the bundled amount. They might save some money over the long term if they actually go with a per minute usage, per minute billing option. And so that's where this is going to come into play. It may not be a huge amount of people that need it, but it's a very welcome change, and I'm glad to see it being introduced. So, good stuff. Thanks for sharing, Tom, as usual. Also, for those of you that will be at Ignite or just following Ignite from a distance, Tom has been named one of the 10 community reporters that will be covering big news from Microsoft Ignite officially. So I believe the 10 people are one person per each big product area. And obviously, Tom will be representing the Skype for Business Teams community and sharing what the big news is there. So definitely one of the guys to be following if you're watching what's coming out of Ignite. Next up, this post from Matt Landis. This was not really news per se, but I thought it was a very good thing to take a look at and look at this side-by-side analysis of chat, IM, in Teams and in Skype for Business. How, in his opinion, and I'd have to agree, Teams offers a much better chat experience than Skype for Business does. Even though this isn't news, I wanted to touch on this because, at least for me, and obviously from Microsoft's point of view, Teams is taking a lot more of a central role. It is becoming more and more a part of the way we do business internally at our organization and integration partners. At least within our Microsoft operations team, we've already started to move some of our weekly meetings and stuff into Teams. We definitely do all of our project management out of them. It's becoming a tool that is more and more the center of our world, and I imagine that's only going to continue to be the case. And so getting to know Teams better and getting perspectives like this, I think, is going to be important as the days continue to go on. Looking at this post, though, from Matt Landis, another Office Servers and Services MVP, he goes through and offers 7 different ways that Teams is, in his opinion, a superior chat experience. First off, if you don't join a meeting right away, you don't miss the first part of the conversation. I hate that when you join a meeting like 5 minutes late and there was stuff put in the conversation window, in the IM window, and you don't know what it was. And people are clearly referencing it from earlier. So you don't have that problem when it comes to meetings in Teams. I love that. The persistence of chat extends to the meeting experience. It's good stuff. Even if you miss the IM conversation, you can read the conversation later. Obviously, the nature of it being persistent and threaded and all that stuff. You can easily search for something that was mentioned in the conversation. Searching, discovery, awesome in Teams. You really got to give it marks there. Yeah, you can search for stuff in the conversation history folder of Outlook when it comes to Skype for Business, but I find that it's such an easier and better experience with Teams when it comes to looking for what you need. Give instant feedback, like a like in a specific comment. Matt calls out the instance here where someone might +1 something in the chat window for Skype for Business, but then it just gets lost in all the rest of the chat that happens. When you like something, that like persists and the conversation, and it's easy to look that up and get feedback about the conversation or about the comment that way. So I like the way that they do likes. Separate a conversation into multiple threads. Obviously, threading is a huge part of what makes chat so great in Teams. You can bookmark a comment in the conversation. Bookmarking things is wonderful for going back and looking at your saved or tagged items and seeing what things you thought were important. It just helps you find them and filter through stuff easier. Um, Adding character to the conversation using, of course, memes. I know many people like to joke about that, and memes might be the brunt of the joke, but honestly, I've seen so much meme use already just because it's new and fun to do that you can't knock it. It adds a little bit of spice to the work environment. So, yes, I'm glad to see them in the Teams interface. Anyway, good write up, Matt. Great thoughts. Thanks for breaking that down for us. Matt is definitely one of those guys to follow if you're looking for great tips and tricks having to do with both Skype for Business and Teams. All right, Network Assessment Tool Plus. The name here in the gallery might throw you off. This is actually Ben Lee of Modality Systems. And Ben has made this Network Assessment Tool Plus zip file available out on the gallery for free. He's also included very good full instructions and overview right here of what this is. As we can see from the synopsis here, Microsoft released the network assessment tool in 2016 for doing your basic checks of quality to Skype for Business Online, Teams, and Office 365. The tool gave you a good pass or fail on 4 different network metrics: packet loss, round trip time, jitter, and packet reorder for the 90th percentile average of the time you ran the tool. Like he calls out, this is helpful, but it doesn't tell you the whole story or give you a clue what might be the problem. Okay, so what he did here is created scripts to loop the tool over a long period of time and then pipe that into a Power BI file that can help visualize the data to dig into where there might be issues. So very helpful tool for pegging and figuring out where you might be having problems with your quality in terms of connecting to Skype for Business Online. He also gives a post that runs through how to do this, gives us a screenshot here of what this Power BI interface looks like. Really nice looking dashboard to pinpoint where different metrics fall in the course of things. And of course, he asks for feedback and comments. They're always welcome. Please do give him those. And if you like this tool, as I assume you would, because this is awesome, come in here and rate it. As of right now, the tool is brand spanking new. Not a whole lot of activity yet. Been downloaded 29 times, but no ratings. Check it out. Give it a rating. Let them know what you think. I'm going to be using this actually for a project that I'm getting ready to do a little bit of network analysis on. This is going to be great for that. So check this out. Let Ben know what you think. Ben, great job on the tool. Okay, last bit here. This might be somewhat oldish news, but I wanted to bring it up because I kind of feel like I might have already brought this up in another episode, but maybe I didn't. In either case, there was a tweet calling this out, and it was the fact that starting, where was it? August 1st of 2017, all new tenants, not existing tenants, all new tenants after August 1st, 2017, settings on already existing, the default settings are going to change to, or did change to, Modern Auth being on by default for Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, and Skype for Business Online. Modern Auth is a topic that is getting more and more attention lately. There's going to be a session or two on it Ignite. I'd advise you check that out if you can. You need to get to know Modern Auth, both for how it affects your on-prem environment and your online environment, and know that if you launch or work with customers who are launching tenants after August 1st, that means last month, it's over a month now this has been in effect, Modern Auth is already on by default. Very good thing to know. So you can check out the rest of this article going over how clients use Modern Auth features based on the authentication configuration on the Office 365 tenant, but that was the main point I wanted to call out there. Okay, back over to the Infinity screen. That's it. That's all I got for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope it was helpful and informative. I know there wasn't any earth-shattering news as I like to have when I can, but like I said, I think we're gonna have a little bit less on news leading up to some of the bigger fireworks at the end of the month with Ignite. So be patient there. I'll try to get another episode cranked out, 1 or 2 episodes if I can, before Ignite. But there will definitely be Ignite activity in a few different forms on video. One of those I'm looking forward to sharing in a little while. I'm pretty excited about it, and there might be a couple other opportunities to do some videos. So be looking for what I'm putting out there at Ignite when that comes up. In the meantime, you guys enjoy your upcoming weekend, even though it's Wednesday. If you were in Florida like me, especially on the East Coast, might be a good time to start prepping your house, gathering some supplies, getting on the road, and maybe making a trip to Alabama or Tennessee or somewhere like that for a few days. Wait for Hurricane Irma to get out of here. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Please share if you liked the video, and we'll see you guys for the next video. Thanks. Adios.